guys about my Italy trip? Like,
No.
the fucking nightmare of my Italy trip.
No.
I got bitten by a dog, and that's like the least of it.
Okay, yeah, you never explained that to me.
No.
You just randomly got bitten by a dog?
Yes. That's the thing.
Okay.
It was an unprovoked attack. Unprovoked attack. No, it was honestly an unprovoked attack because I know people are dumb around dogs, and it's never the dog's fault, really. I'm a staunch believer that we should defend dogs at all costs. And these dogs were shepherd dogs. I don't know what that's called. Sheep dogs. And they thought I was a little sheep, and so it like started nibbling me because I didn't. I mean, it was territorial and aggressive, but it wasn't like it didn't try to kill me. Like it wasn't like a, James Bond dog who tried to eat me. But it bit me twice in my legs, and the owners were two Italian men who were like, oh, don't worry about it, and then started throwing stones at them. And I'm like, oh, well, that explains why they're super aggressive and weird. I got had to take one of those tetanus shots immediately. And I'm now a little scarred for the rest of my life because Junie was with me. So I was like, I've never been in full shock in my entire life. But this time I was definitely, something was like, because I sat down and blood all over my leg. I was holding Junie. And I was like, no, listen, I'm fine. I'm cool. Don't worry about it, guys. Like, no, we're cool. I started joking. And then someone eventually asked me, it's like, Ellie, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm cool. And then panic, crying. But no, that was like the least traumatic thing, though, that happened in Italy because it just, like, it just never ended. But I was we were talking about traveling before we started recording, and I'm like, after this summer, I'm like staying put in New York for the rest of Junie's, until she's 18, and she can do whatever she wants.
I don't know if that's going to be true,
That's true.
but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it was just, the thing is, I want to go back to Italy, and like, I had pasta once. Like, who goes to Italy and has pasta once? Like, that's the biggest trauma of my Italy trip.
First she came for Sweden, then Norway,
Fuck Italy!
then England. Fuck Italy.
Dude, you will go back
Thank
to
you,
Italy.
good night.
Yes. Of course I will. Because it was the most beautiful...
You have to go to Perugia, which is where Xavier's aunt and uncle live, and his cousin owns a bar there. They own like a bar and a cafe. And Perugia's like this crazy small village town with like stairs through everything. It looks insane. Like, it looks like a really crazy old village. But it's very quaint, and it's really, really nice, and they do tours and stuff, and I'll hook you up, and you'll go to the countryside in Italy.
I will... I mean, the thing is, everything about Italy was great. Outside the
dogs.
Rabid dogs. Yeah.
It was the Italian dogs that were the problem.
I'd like to see Ellie leave a Yelp review for Italy in general. And she's like, great country, love the pasta, hate the dog that bit me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Specifically that dog.
Yeah, just that one.
But the thing is, so in the US, you get rabies shots if you get bitten by any animal because... I mean, apparently that's the standard, and that's what I thought was the standard.
Yeah.
That's for me. But then, we called like a hospital, and they're like, no, listen, just observe the dogs for 10 days, and if they die, then you're fucked. But if not, then you're fine. And I'm like, okay, but. But
what about me? I'm not actually that much bigger than a dog, and I'm scared.
Yeah. But they told me apparently a rabies shot is like really like painful, first of all, but also like a pain in the ass, and they claim that Italy is rabies free, but she's like, I'm gonna text you if the dog dies, I'll text you, and I'm like, okay. And
oh my god.
It was such a it was honestly, it was pretty bad, but did get that text a couple of days ago though that the dogs are still alive, so I'm not gonna die a painful, awful death of anxiety. Have you guys read up on rabies? It's like the worst way to go. Like, of all the ways to go, it's the worst one.
There's no cure for rabies. Like, you can get a rabies shot, which helps you, but once you have rabies, you die, and you basically go insane. Rabies is the craziest thing because it's the closest thing we actually have to like becoming a zombie, like IRL. You go insane. Your brain catches on fire. The one thing I love is you start to avoid water, and you like won't drink water or take showers or like cross streams. You become like afraid of water. Isn't that crazy?
The next time I have a depressive episode, I'm going to be like, do I have rabies?
Oh, dude,
literally every day.
Well, that's the thing. The symptoms for rabies is like, do you get anxiety? Then you might have rabies. And I'm like, of course I have fucking anxiety. I got bitten by a dog in a country that won't treat me. You know,
you're literally foaming at the mouth right now. You want to call that lady back and check on that dog?
Oh man, but no, but like I think World War Z was based off of like a mutation of rabies, like those zombies.
Yeah.
I think so. But that's why they were so aggressive. In that I thought that movie was great actually. Like the World War Z.
That movie was terrifying. The zombies run so fast.
Exactly. They were like, and also impossible to kill. Like they were not like dumb Walking Dead zombies that were like, you can look at it and it will die.
I liked how hive mind they were, and like kind of like ants. Like they would crawl up over each other to like get to a thing. That was that movie, right? Where they would like
they would they
sort of swarm.
Yeah. Like there's that great shot where Brad Pitt jumps to a helicopter and then it's like
and they're like
they're coming after him in that shot. You know, I'm not a huge action movie gal, but I don't know. That one got me. That one. I really enjoy that. Like,
thanks, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Fuck Italy, but you're okay.
Do you know Pitt means cock in Swedish? I'm not lying.
Oh.
So I'm like,
we're finally back to steak and blowjobs, ladies.
Oh my god.
It was time. It was time to bring this back into what this podcast is really about.
That old chestnut.
That old chestnut. Lack of penises makes us talk about it all the time.
Can we play some Bassin, please?
Yes.
I'm scared.
About that, great job last week. We'll talk about points some other time, because for this episode I have something special prepared. You will find out what it is soon. But before we start, you're in Norway again. You guys have just finished another tale. It was a very cold one. Cold, emotionally cold, but also winter. But you solved it. You killed it. Or like the people, of course, in the books solved it. However, Jane and Amber, of course, you're just reading the story. You have nothing to do with this. This is just a coincidence that you're reading these books. Margaret, your Norwegian host, is looking at you as you finish this tale. She looks excited because as she said, it's one of her favorites. So, what did you think about that one?
I kind of felt like, I don't know, like, I don't really know what the cold is like much because California and all, so it's hard for me to like understand why, somebody might be like, oh, I like totally want to go to this cold place. You know what I mean? Like, why were they even there at the inn? And also, like, that guy died, and that's like so sad, and that woman like didn't even love him.
I just love an unrequited love story. I have ever since I was little, and so I am sad, but in like a really great way.
Wow.
And I would,
Margaret looks at the two of you when you say unrequited love, and it's like, interesting.
What?
Nothing. Anyway, I am getting quite tired, and it's getting dark. Are you staying the night? You're welcome to stay the night. I have guest rooms upstairs.
Oh my god, we really shouldn't impose upon you,
but also like we planned on staying at that inn that's like totally not even open, and you found us, and it feels like, I don't know, like, thank you so much for taking us in and like showing us all these cool stories. Like, I would be honored if we stayed the night.
Is this what they call hygge?
Well, in Denmark, I think they would call it that, yes.
They would? That's not the same thing. Nope. Oh, God.
That was a really good try, Amber.
Yeah, Amber, not Anne. Good job,
Amber looking at her pocket dictionary, being like, let me just try to use some language.
Yeah, she pulls out the pocket dictionary. It's 100% Danish. And she's like, oh, now I get why nobody understood when we were asking for directions earlier.
This is a common misconception that, but the Danes, we belong to the Danes for a long time, and now we don't, and we are very happy about that. I think that's what we celebrate on the 17th of May every year.
Wow, I am learning so much.
Me too.
I didn't even know they were like two different countries.
Oh. Well, we didn't used to be, but then the big brother Sweden came in and fucked with us. I think I don't really remember the historical kings.
A room sounds great.
Yeah.
Great. I'll show
night.
Night. I'll show you to your room, and you guys walk up the stairs. She brings out a couple of pillows, some comforters because it's getting cold. And as you walk by the window, you can see the hill up where the Moon Lake Inn is standing on. But then you notice something strange. One of the windows, there's a light in it. Did you turn on one of the lights up there when you were up there?
No.
The lights didn't even work, right?
Yes, that's what I thought, but that's very strange. I think I need to go up there and see if there's someone who is perhaps lost. How about you?
Are you gonna go out there alone? Is that safe and stuff? It's super late now.
I know, but I worry that there might be an intruder, or someone who is like you, lost. I'm still the owner of that inn, but I'm sure it will be fine. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
Me too.
Yeah. You're probably right. We're just being silly. Good night. And I close the door.
Make sure she goes, make sure if something happens you run upstairs. I've heard that.
Yeah, they can't run upstairs as fast as they can run downstairs. Wait, no. Yeah. I'm thinking of a bear. Amber. I'm being so stupid. I'm thinking of a bear. You run downhill. Anyway, good night.
Good night, ladies. I hope you sleep very well. And she gives you the pillows and the comforter, and you hear her walk down the stairs, close the door.
Wait.
Huh?
Do you have a waffle maker for the morning?
Don't you feel like we could have asked her that when she's here in the morning?
Amber, I'm afraid she's not going to be here in the morning. I want to know where the waffle maker is in case something bad happens, so I can get it in the morning.
Don't worry about it. We'll find whatever makers you have, coffee, waffle, or otherwise.
Shut up, Amber.
What is wrong?
Let her tell us. Let's tell her where it is. Good. All right. Good night. Good luck.
The door thuds closed on our end at the top of the stairs.
And you can hear her walking down the path up to the hill, but if you would look out, you can't see her, but you're still seeing the light in the house.
She is gonna take the lamp on the bedside table and put it in the window and just run her hand in front of it twice and then see what happens. Anything?
You get a signal back.
Oh my god, there's totally fucking someone over there. Holy shit.
What?
I did the hand thing in front of the lamp. I don't even know what I'm doing. But a response. Somebody flashed their light.
Oh, it's probably her.
She can't teleport over there. The person with the light who's over. We should not go. We should not go. And she's like already standing at the door. She's
Let's
like,
go.
We really shouldn't.
Let's go. And I already have my jacket on. Come on.
How about both of you roll a logic? Oh, wait, you can't.
Yeah, we don't have that, Ellie.
Amber think it's a great idea, now when you really think about it, to go over there.
What does Jane think?
No, you think it's a even better idea. It was your idea to begin with, so you definitely think you should go there.
We have to at least warn her that, like, what we saw. I mean, at the very least. Oh, okay. And she just, like, throws the pillows on the ground and bumbles out the door of the room.
Jane takes Amber's shoulders. Amber, it's up to us now. Let's go.
We'll be like all the people in the books, and we'll totally save the day, and we'll diffuse any and all, problems with the supernatural.
Yeah. I've learned so much. I'm ready.
So I've learned so much from these stories, especially that second one. Man, short but really powerful learnings about not running headlong into danger. Right. And then she runs down the stairs.
All right. The two of you find yourselves on the path up to the Moon Lake Inn. You follow the light, and it's getting closer and closer. You can't see Margaret. She seemed to either have gone in, or I don't know what happened to her. You would probably have to get closer to see if she's still there. Eventually you get to the front of the house where you came before. The door is still open. It's eerily quiet. What do you do?
Should we call out?
Yeah, probably.
Margaret.
The light goes off.
Margaret, are you okay? And she kind of like steps up to the door, like just her toes at the very line of the threshold. And she's just peering into the darkness of the house.
So remember that time when I said that there were two doors? One to the left and one to the right. And the one to the right was closed, but then you left and it was all for some reason open. You peer through that door. It's darkness. It's like thick darkness. If you would even describe it as like smoky darkness. But it's not smoke. But then you see something in there. Something is standing in there. It's like a figure in white, and you're not quite sure how you can see this person.
Hello. Our friend came up here to see if you were lost. Are you lost?
And as you're looking at it, you can make out that it's a person with long hair standing with her back turned towards you.
Does it look like Margaret?
It does not.
One last ditch attempt for this to be totally normal. Nope.
And this person, as you call out for it, slowly turns. Right before we were supposed to see the face of this figure, we just see Amber, whose frozen face of horror is just looking at this thing. But we can't see what it is that Amber sees yet. And we just zoom in on Amber's eyes as we're transported into a different universe. Anne Richmond, I want you to take it from here.
You're in my stupid mind now, motherfuckers.
Wow.
The true horror. Guys, I am so ready to take you on your next Vassin mystery. Surprise, everybody.
See?
All right.
I'm so excited. So, for those of you who are dumb listeners, Anne will be GMing from now on. At least from now on. From for the rest of my life, no. For the rest of I want to have like our vast and like our Lost Mountain theme now in like a rock concert way, like because it's like the N way.
Yeah, you need to fully distort the theme and like
Yeah.
speed it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can. We'll see what I can do. But for now, it's gonna be like.
It's summertime, as we know. It's summer, though, in the UK because Ellie, I'm not afraid of the United Kingdom.
Brave.
I'm ready to mess up every accent for your amusement. But here we find ourselves in Cornwall, the western coastal part of England. In fact, we find ourselves in St. Ives. A summer wind runs along a silver beach set against the cool light of a full moon. We see white foam roll up the sand. It's high tide, and two lovers, a man and a woman, giggle and frolic as they run along the water's edge. The woman takes off sprinting down the beach. Catch me if you can, Carl. And the man follows. Gleeful yelps suddenly turn to shrieks of terror. The man turns a corner on the beach to find her sobbing before a flooded tide pool, red with blood. He sees the slumped form of a lifeless man covered in seeping puncture wounds. And summer has, of course, also come to Rose's house. But Ellie, we do not find ourselves there, no. We instead find our first investigator seated in a crowded theater in London's West End at a production of The Tempest. Irina, please describe who we see sitting in the third row in the periphery of these glowing footlights.
Yeah, you see a woman in her late 20s, dark brown hair with a lot of makeup and expensive clothing that would cover up an otherwise pretty plain looking face. She's currently looking at the performers with very, very obvious indifference. She finds them to be melodramatic and boring. She looks at her pocket watch and she can't wait for it to be over.
The show goes on, perhaps for you interminably, because it is not your cup of tea. But once it ends and the applause falls, you turn to get out of your seat and look down the aisle, and standing there is a brick wall of a woman with two cinnamon bun style braids in the back of her hair, and she is standing at the end of the aisle looking at you expectantly. Ilrina Olmur?
Yes, what do you want?
She nods curtly and motions. You to follow me. To come.
Who is asking?
Hawkins sent you from Rose's house to show.
Of course. And at the mentioning of Rose's house, it's like she's like, oh fuck, because she's been drinking a little bit, so she forgot immediately that she might have, actually have a job, and then she's like, of course, but she wants to still make a scene in case anyone's eavesdropping that this person is bothering her. But as soon as she's out of earshot, she goes into professional mode and almost stealthily follows this person, trying to blend in.
Awesome. So as you go, you notice that this woman just kind of understands where you are, and despite her size, is able to quickly navigate, very fluidly through these crowds and sort of disappear beneath notice of anyone, which is something you're also used to doing and understand. And the grand exterior and artifice of the theater falls away as Vlada opens up a small door next to the stage, and you make your way through this labyrinthine lattice work of metal staircases and cramped hallways, because as we know, the front of the theater is for the rich, but the real work goes on in just the wildest spaces backstage. And you kind of swerve through all of these hallways, and finally Vlada gets to one of these hallways on a higher floor. Your legs are like burning from climbing stair after stair after stair to the top of the theater. And Vlada grunts, I help, you wait. And she pushes past this figure that's now standing in front of you, in front of this door, and slides into the room with purpose and sort of shuts it abruptly behind her. And Vanessa, as you're sort of shoved aside by Vlada, you are nearly thrown back into Irina. And the two of you are left to regard each other in this narrow hallway.
Watch yourself.
Excuse me, apologies.
Wait. Irina looks a little bit closer at Vanessa. Wait, where? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe you were someone else.
You look very familiar.
I'm sure I would have known if I had met you before.
Do you live here in Cornwall?
No. No. I'm just visiting. I'm here on an errand. Do you live here? You are a nun. And then Irina, it's like it dawns on her immediately, and her posture completely changes. And she says in Romanian, Vanessa?
Irina?
So as you begin to recognize each other, we see time shift backwards, maybe almost 15 years ago. We are in a Romanian abbey, and the rosy-fingered dawn has begun to reach her red fingers through your window, and the two of you, in your teens, Irina perhaps a few years younger than Vanessa, but both of you are living together here. Both of you are preparing to take the vows of a novice, and both of you share an adjoining room with the orphans' quarters. What do you think the two of you would be going about as far as chores or devotionals in these early hours?
Well, Irina was very studious and very, very pious, so she would probably, me not knowing anything what nuns actually do during practice, but I'm like, she would study the Bible and try to figure out how to meet Jesus. No, but she would probably read quietly.
I think Vanessa was also studious, but like very much a daydreamer, and I think maybe Vanessa would be like reading and studying and then like grab a different book when it wasn't time to do like for pleasure reading, and she'd be reading like some of like, you know, like the sexier Christian, like Song of Solomon, you know, like she's like reading the material that's, it's okay to read, like it's not banned, but it's just like, okay, that's not, we're not doing that today. Like we're doing, you know, the not the Old Testament because that's Jewish. We're doing something else. But anyway, and I think maybe like every so often Irina would like spot her doing this, and Vanessa would just be like,
Irina looks up to Vanessa, even though she would never herself dare to be reading something so scandalous as Solomon. And but Vanessa walks over to, Irina walks over to Vanessa and sits down and doesn't want to disturb you until you're done with the reading, but clearly would like to say
after
something.
a while, Vanessa puts the book down. Oh, Irina, yes. Sorry, I did not notice you.
Vanessa, no, I just wanted to say that I don't know if you've noticed, but it's such a warm spring for the year, and I had hoped that maybe we could go for a walk later. I don't know if that's something you would like to do. I just, it's the season makes me so happy.
But of course, have you made your bed and shined your shoes and folded your skirts?
So sorry. Of course, I will do that. I will do that right
Arena,
now.
that is little joke.
I wasn't sure if you would joke. But you are one of the funniest people I know here. So that's what makes me happy to know that you are joking.
That is very sad you think I am the funniest one, because Mother Helena is the funniest one. Do you see the way she walks? It is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, but she
But
has some sort of.
don't be rude, because she has the limp. So that is mean for you to say it's embarrassing.
Oh, I sorry. No, I know it's not. It's not that I meant it's
Arena,
embarrassing.
that is
No.
little joke. Come on, I'm saying little joke.
You make me nervous all the time when you make these jokes, and I don't know if you're serious or if you're just being sarcastic. Which
Two
I've heard that.
two friends.
You hear like someone at the door. The door swings just slightly open, and you see uh Mother Helena
Fuck.
at the door, and she goes, "Ladies, good morning.
Mother Helena, good morning.
But
Have you checked on children, Irina?"
yes, they are playing nicely right now. They have eaten and they have said their prayers. Holy Mary, which is the prayer that I told them to say.
Ah, yes, one of my very favorites, Holy Mary. So full of holes. No,
She is.
for
She
sitting.
is the mother.
No.
She is. She is the mother, right, of Jesus.
Vanessa's laugh.
I
Are
don't
you
know.
all, she just kind of cants her head to this, and she goes, "Are you all right? You seem
Sorry. The spring weather is making me making me excited.
Mother Helena, we
right.
thought it would be so nice if Arina and I took a break from our reading studies to pick flowers for the dinner table to set tonight. The daffodils are in full bloom.
Oh, that would be very nice to have these flowers in the great hall for dinner. Uh, why don't you make sure, Irina, that the children are at their studies, and then afterwards you may have my permission to go for a walk.
Yes, indeed, I will do that right now. Vanessa, I will see you later. And she, I don't know if nuns bow, but whatever she would do at the exit, she does that and then hurries off.
Yeah, so you sort of like slide by Mother Helena, and her demeanor is one, it's like firm, but like it was certainly maternal, certainly maternal. And you two have lived here for quite some time, really grown up for the most part in this place. And Helena looks through the door at you, Vanessa, and she says, "She is coming along. You do a good job getting her up to speed."
Thank you, Mother Helena. It is not hard. She's good.
We must all be thankful for the blessings of our Lord, for what He gives us. We must make ourselves ready for the challenges, and you always ready, no matter what you get into. She says, sort of her mood darkening a little bit, um, and she closes the door behind her. It's the latch kind of hits and it remains kind of open. This door is notorious for just blowing open in the wind. It's a very old building. So what are you doing in this room as you sort of get ready?
I think Vanessa isn't hurt by what Mother Helena said, but like Vanessa is known for being odd. Like she was brought to the orphanage or to the convent under odd circumstances as an orphan, and like some people treat her very kindly. Some people view her in like she is lesser and they shouldn't have taken her in, and like she's a burden. And Mother Helena is not that, but when people talk about her in a way that even hints at that, Vanessa gets a little bit more somber and less jokey. And I think she for a minute lays on her bed and then digs under her mattress and finds these 3 little like wooden lumps that she's been carving and trying to carve into like dolls, crosses, like little playthings. And she'd been working on this doll that she wanted to give to Irina. And it's supposed to look like her, but it doesn't look like her. It almost looks like Mother Mary, which is kind of funny. Yeah. But she like carves it a little bit and then accidentally cuts her finger. And she's like, oh, ow. And she...
As you cut your finger, a sort of unnatural breeze sweeps through the room and blows out the candles.
Vanessa like quickly stands up thinking someone has swung the door open again and turns to the door.
You turn to the door, you begin moving towards the door slams shut in your face.
She turns around again towards the window.
Normally you would hear birds. It's early morning. The world is waking up, but there's something sort of dampened and quiet, unnatural quiet. There's a total lack of ambient noise. Sorry, dog's barking.
Do I hear the dog barking?
No, you don't hear the dogs barking. That's local. There's a total lack of ambient noise. The only thing you can hear is the sound of your own breath, and you kind of realize like you're not breathing.
And now she's nervous. Now she feels really weird.
Yeah. You hear outside, cutting through this dampened silence, a blood-curdling scream that echoes across the entire abbey and convent.
Vanessa runs to the window.
You don't really see the window faces like the outside, so you're just see the outside rather than the interior courtyard of the abbey, and you don't see anything out that way, but you hear outside the door running feet, just like a pair of running feet running by.
She runs to the door and opens it, tries to open it.
You try to open it, it seems locked.
She starts she thinks maybe there's like a fire or something. She starts banging on the door, and she says, Mother Helena, the door is jammed.
And right on the back of your ear, hot breath. Angel. Now, Irina, you also hear this scream, but there are no doors to bar your path. What do you do?
Oh, I'm running towards Vanessa's room, as soon as I hear it. But am I with orphans? Like, am I with young children?
You have gone down to the Great Hall where you had said everybody has had breakfast. They're playing. Some of them are reading books or rolling balls back and forth to each other on the ground. This scream is coming from the courtyard, which is right outside the door, because the Great Hall opens to the courtyard.
Okay. Then I'll run towards the courtyard.
Okay. You burst through the door, and as you do, about 3 other sisters sort of stumble out towards this sound that was heard, and they are gathering around this one central point below a tall tower. This tall tower is where the orphans and sort of the residents of the abbey sort of stay. And why don't you roll a vigilance test to see what you pick up?
Vigilance, all right. That's going to be... I don't have much vigilance, all right. 1 success.
1 success. All right, so you are able to see where they're looking on in horror, and your eyes catch it as you hear gasps on either side of you, sort of sidle in between these 3 sisters. There is a crumpled small form in the grass.
No. No.
You take this in, and as you do, Vanessa, banging on this door is exhausting, and it's like the moment you give up, suddenly the door creaks open. All on its own.
She just needs to get out of there. Like, she, like, rips, you know, through the door and runs just in the direction everyone's running.
As you slip through the door, there's like like an exhale of breath behind you that just sort of chases you out. Maybe it was your own air escaping. You're not quite sure, but it's all very creepy. And you dash through rough-hewn stone walls, down twisting staircases, through the great hall, and you two are now out in the courtyard. The sisters are holding on to Irina as she sobs. God save her poor soul. Bless you, Mila. Now, Irina, what you have seen is the body of a young girl, bent unnaturally from a fall from a great height. Wild red hair soaked with blood from the impact. But it features streaks of white, something you've never seen before. But her blue, lifeless eyes seem to be making contact with yours. Now, in a flash, we are in Irina's mind. And somewhere between this white-hot woe that is coursing through your body of this loss of this sweet girl, this sweet, innocent girl who felt like a sister to you, Irina, what are some of your fondest memories of Mila?
All she can think of is like this sweet little girl, and how they would do mundane things such as braiding each other's hair. They would go out and pick blueberries in the late summers to make a blueberry pie. They would sing together, but she would comfort her when she was sad. She would calm her down when she had nightmares. And she would talk about God a lot, the blessing and love of God, and how that would make up for the absence of their own parents. Yeah.
And between those things, you also see moments where there's hushed voices in the hallway where Mila has been sleepwalking, and you've discovered her and turned her around towards bed, where the nuns have asked you, have you counted them in the beds? One is missing, where all of these things sort of tether together with her descriptions in those sweet, kind, comforting moments of her fears all come together, and you feel not only the woe, but like you should have done something, you should have done more.
It's also something happening in the back of Irina's head as she's realizing something profound within her, and it's guilt and shame. This is my fault. I did this. Lord, have mercy on my soul.
Vanessa is just so taken aback and confused. And now, like, Irina is saying, I did this. And Vanessa's like, how could Irina have done that? Like, Irina was with me. And she just, like, slowly walks up to Irina where she is being held by, the mothers. And she tries to put her hand out to grab Irina's hand.
I did this. No. And then she just starts screaming.
Well, it's the pain and the loss of all these warm things mingling with, the fact that you all here make your family after the profound loss of a sense of identity that you gave these children in your role here. Both of you have given your lives to giving them family and faith and comfort and stability. And this terrible thing has happened, and it sinks into every part of you, Irina. And not even a full month later, we find the two of you back in your room. Irina, you are packing your things hurriedly into a carpet bag, ready to leave it all behind. And Vanessa, you've come to make your final plea to get her to stay.
Irina, I understand that you are hurt, but you have to talk to me, and you can't just leave.
I once believed that God would forgive everything, but there are certain things that not even He would forgive. You should not be here. You should not talk to me, and you should not be with me. I am corrupted. My mind is
Irina,
poison.
it was not your fault.
And Irina, completely different from the young, happy girl that just a month earlier sits down next to you, Vanessa. And it's almost as if there's something that you're saying that's getting through to her. Vanessa, I wish I could explain, but I will leave this part of the world to make sure that my corruption, my evil that I carry, won't spread further. I know that I always appreciated your friendship and your kindness, but with me here, I'm worried that this evil will spread and continue to the other sisters, and that must not happen. You deserve better. You're a good person. Know that. And please, should something ever seem to be tempting you to do things, then with all your power, please run the other way.
Irina, you are my only friend.
Trust me, sometimes it's better to have no friends than to be my friend.
And we return to the present. The two of you reunited in this now just incredibly small hallway for everything you're feeling.
Irina is completely in shock, and you can see tears running down her face, but it's almost as if she's catching herself being vulnerable for a moment, but then immediately puts back this mask, this whatever person she is now, and she dries her tears and is like, ugh. And in her weird German, Swedish, English, broken English accent, she snaps back and is like, Vanessa, I'm sorry, I don't remember much of our old language. How are you? How have you been?
I am doing well. How are you, Irina? You are in Cornwall. You don't live here.
You're in London, by the way. You're in London. Yeah, I was confusing.
We're in London, actually, because I was going to say Rose House is not in Cornwall, but I don't know where I am. You are... And I think Vanessa also takes in Irina's clothing. Like, obviously, Irina is not a nun anymore, like, left the convent, left the practice. She says, you look very pretty in your clothing. And Vanessa, like, truly doesn't know what to say. You are at the show?
Yes, I saw The Tempest at that awful theater around the corner. But
I have a very good friend who likes the theater.
Oh, you do? Really?
Yeah, you may have seen her in The Tempest. Mary Smythe, she is in The Tempest.
Oh, that's your friend?
So you remember that she was playing the spirit Ariel in this production.
She was quite good, I will say. I will say that. You should...
Very, very scary, no?
Yes, perhaps. Perhaps she was scary. I frankly, I was quite bored out of my mind.
So as you say this, the door opens next to you, and Vlada beckons you into this rather bohemian-looking dressing room. There is a scent of Earl Grey tea and saffron cakes that finds you from a table somewhere in the room, surrounded by stools, and sitting in the creepy candlelight of the vanity you see a rather austere and aged woman in a green silk robe, whose eyes immediately light up upon seeing you. She throws her arms open dramatically and beckons you inside. Mary Smythe, everybody, rises to greet you. Hell is empty. The devils are all here. Ha ha! Come in, come in.
That is Mary Smythe, my friend.
Right. I figured. And Irina walks over, offers her hand. You were quite impressive up there. I was quite taken by your performance.
Oh, was I? Well, pretty words will get you everywhere with me. But I have something far more sinister to impart to the two of you. Come in, come in. And as you sort of slide into the room, the door closes behind you. And from the outside, we, the dread audience, only witness the shadows of secretive feet moving across the floor, illuminated by firelight. And that is where we will end episode 1.
Oh, yeah, you heard that right. Episode 1, ladies and gents. We got more.
The other sagas.
The other sagas. Oh, Ellie, I
God.
love Irina. What a bitch.
Yeah.